Have you ever talked to someone and they use the word irregardless or conversate when they mean converse? These are common misused words, but besides misused words, something else happens all the time in today's society. Misused definitions. Often I see and hear people use words and terminologies in the wrong way because they are ignorant to the actual meaning. One of which being the phrase culture vulture. For example, what people are trying to say I am. The misused definition of culture vulture goes hand in hand with cultural appropriation, which I'll get to later in this video. If you look up the definition, in the dictionary it says, culture vulture is a person who is very interested in the arts. An example of culture vulture is an individual who visits art museums daily. To me, that doesn't even sound like a bad thing. But let's continue searching the web for more definitions. The Urban Dictionary defines it as a person or an organization making profit using unhonorable practices from a culture that they do not care for. Firstly, I am not trying to make any kind of profit in any form. I don't even believe in money. Whatever money I get, I usually give it right back to the community. Secondly, it's referring to people who do not care for that culture. You cannot be a culture vulture if you are born into that culture, married into that culture, or are dedicated to that culture. By definition, if I was a culture vulture, then so is everybody else on the planet. You especially are a culture vulture for cooking spaghetti when you're not Italian, taking karate when you're not Asian, or doing yoga when you're not Indian, which is also a form of cultural appropriation. I mean, shit, you're being a culture vulture and appropriating if you're fucking doggy style and you're not a dog. You know what I'm saying? Now, with all due respect to the majority of my Black American brothers and sisters out there, African culture isn't even our culture. It's our heritage. So if we were to participate in African traditions in America, we ourselves are being a culture vulture by your definition. See, we were born in America. We are not African American. We are American. But the fact that the white people who are born in America are called Americans, but black people who are born in America and have been in this country for generations are not American? They want to call us something else, African American? That is racist and fucked up, and it keeps inequality in the equation. I'm not trying to start no shit. I'm just trying to spread knowledge and rid people of this ignorance in the misused words and definitions that we use. When someone calls me a culture vulture, they are basically saying, hey, I'm ignorant and I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Often when people call someone a culture vulture, they are low-key trying to accuse them of cultural appropriation. Cultural appropriation is the action of taking something from another culture for one's own use, typically without the owner's permission. If someone is born into that culture, they cannot be appropriating. That is what they were born into. A lot of people have it misconstrued. No one is born with culture. We are born a blank slate and brung into culture. If a French family moves to Germany, has a kid there, and that kid learns to speak German, wear German clothes, and participate in German activities, would that kid be a culture vulture? Would he be appropriating? Lastly, I would like to add a few more misused definitions. Blackfishing is when somebody makes themselves look black just to take pictures for social media and then goes back to being non-black. Blackfacing is when someone puts on black or brown paint on their face with the sole purpose to try and mock or make fun of black people. As a final message, just please don't be ignorant with the definitions of words. Remember that I am not appropriating a culture vulture, blackfishing, or blackfacing. This is just who I am. And as always, peace, love, and power to the people.